had our issues with Jasmine in the past, but defects calling right now, that's like a real red flag. Like, this is an issue. This was yesterday. A could have threw you under the bus. The problem with her is she was out here on the prowl trying to get a to take care of her. That's
it's but it's also you did too now. No, I'm just saying, so that's why.
But when you're taking care of your child, you should not be back in court.
Well, that's the problem about being a side hoe.
Yeah.
That's what I
But she's not even a side hoe. Kirk, not with her. It was, a situation that was unfortunate, but it's just gonna haunt you for the rest of your life.
I've been dealing with this for years. Jasmine, she needs to start understanding that you can't expect certain things, baby, because that's not what that's about. What it's about is Kirk financially taking care of Cannon. A lot of things that she talks about and wants are things that she wants for herself. And that's when you're losing sight of what the is really going on.
Do you think that if there's any capacity that you could possibly be able to have a conversation with her without him, because he's the culprit, where you can calm things down at this point?
I don't think me saying something is going to change her mindset.
She's probably feeling like, okay, we both made a mistake, but now I'm the only one that's living with, she's on with the kid alone.
Sit back on her sitting at home taking care of that child? No, because if she was, defects wouldn't be calling. Your baby daddy's ain't. So I get where y'all coming from. Feeling like, ooh, I know what it feel like on her end, but you probably know what it feel like because you ain't getting child support. She get it, and she gets more. And she gets help whenever she calls Kirk. So it's a big difference.
Does she want Kirk to take full custody? Because that could also solve it.
I don't believe in somebody taking a child from their mother unless it's unfit. Then the situation should change.
But isn't she unfit or defects though?
The drama surrounding love and hip-hop. Atlanta has always been full of scandals, but few moments have been as shocking as the release of Kirk Frost's private video. It wasn't just a fleeting controversy, it was a deeply personal betrayal that shook his marriage to Rasheeda to its core. In a world where secrets rarely stay hidden for long, this scandal became one of the most unforgettable in the history of the show. At the center of the chaos was Jasmine, a woman who had mostly stayed in the background until this moment. Almost overnight, she became the reason for a storm that no one could ignore. Kirk and Rasheeda's marriage had already been through plenty of struggles. But this was different. This time, the damage felt impossible to repair. The betrayal, the humiliation, and the heartbreak played out not just in their private lives, but in front of millions of people watching their every move. Kirk Frost had never been a stranger to controversy. Over the years, he had gained a reputation for his infidelity and reckless decisions. He had already fathered a child outside of his marriage, a revelation that nearly tore his relationship apart. But somehow, Rasheeda had found a way to stand by him, to fight for their family, and to try to rebuild what they had. However, nothing could have prepared her for what was about to happen next. When the private video surfaced online, it wasn't just an invasion of privacy. It was a painful reminder of Kirk's past mistakes. The video exposed intimate moments that were never meant to be seen by the public, and suddenly, their most personal issues became entertainment for the world. Social media exploded with reactions, debates, and endless criticism. Everyone had an opinion, and most of them weren't in Kirk's favor. For Kirk, this wasn't just another scandal. This time, it felt like there was no coming back. He had already asked Rasheeda for forgiveness too many times. He had already promised to change, only to fall back into old habits. And now, with this level of public humiliation, he knew he had crossed a line that might never be erased. But what about Jasmine? The woman at the center of it all suddenly found herself under intense scrutiny. People questioned her motives. Was this a calculated move to ruin Kirk and Rasheeda's marriage? Was she seeking revenge for broken promises? Or was this her way of securing a bigger spotlight for herself? Some saw her as a victim, manipulated by a man who had made her believe in something that was never real. Others saw her as an opportunist, someone who knew exactly what she was doing when she leaked the video. As the controversy unfolded, Rasheeda found herself in an unbearable situation. She had already endured so much pain because of Kirk, but this was different. This wasn't just about him being unfaithful again. This was about her trust being shattered in a way that was impossible to ignore. The video was out there for everyone to see, and no matter how much she wanted to move past it, she couldn't escape the humiliation. For years, Rasheeda had been the strong one. She had fought through heartbreak, public ridicule, and countless betrayals. She had tried to keep her family together despite everything Kirk had done, but this time she felt like she had nothing left to fight for. Seeing the private video of her husband exposed for the world to see was like a final blow she hadn't been prepared for. The weight of it all finally broke her. The pain she had been holding in for years spilled over. She had spent so much time putting on a brave face, but in that moment, she couldn't pretend anymore. This wasn't just about Kirk's mistakes. It was about the years of emotional exhaustion, the countless times she had forgiven him, only to be hurt again. And the world was watching. Every moment of her pain was being captured, dissected, and turned into headlines. The public humiliation was unbearable, and she knew that whatever decision she made next would define the rest of her life. Would she forgive Kirk again, or was this the end of their marriage for good? Meanwhile, Kirk's world was falling apart. He had always been the one stirring up drama, but now he was at the mercy of public opinion. He couldn't escape the backlash. The fans of the show had labeled him a villain before, but now, he wasn't just a man who had made mistakes. He was the man who had completely destroyed his marriage in the most public way possible. The weight of his actions finally started to hit him. He had taken Rasheeda's love for granted one too many times, and now he was watching her slip away. He had always believed that she would stand by him no matter what, but this time, he wasn't so sure. The damage was too deep, the betrayal too painful. And for the first time in a long time, he was forced to face the possibility that he had lost the one person who had always fought for him. As the days passed, the fallout from the video continued to grow. Rasheeda struggled with the leaked video, meant to reveal Kirk's deepest secrets, only made things worse. No matter how much he tried to fix his mistakes, his reputation was already ruined. His marriage, career, and future were all at risk, and there was no escaping the consequences of his actions. He had become an example of a man who had repeatedly failed, and now he had to face the fallout. In response to the scandal, Kirk issued a public apology. He was desperate to save his marriage and family, but for many, including Rasheeda, it was too little, too late. Over the years, she had forgiven him time and time again, but this latest betrayal was a painful reminder of every mistake he had made. No matter how sorry he claimed to be, the damage had already been done. For Rasheeda, the issue wasn't just about forgiving Kirk anymore. It was about whether she could continue living with the repeated heartbreak and emotional wounds he had caused. The release of the video forced her to face the truth. She could no longer ignore the pain she had endured for so long. Their marriage, which had once seemed full of promise, now felt like it was barely holding on. Everything they had built together was being questioned, and the world was watching their every move. As the scandal unfolded, it became clear that the leaked video wasn't just about one bad decision. It represented years of unresolved hurt and disappointment. Rasheeda had to ask herself whether she wanted to keep fighting for a relationship that had caused her so much pain, or finally walk away for good. The entire situation was playing out under the public eye, making it even harder to navigate. Fans of the show were hooked, unable to look away. Everyone wanted to know if Kirk and Rasheeda's marriage could survive this latest scandal, or if the leaked video was the breaking point that would finally end their journey together. The drama surrounding the situation left a lasting impact, not just on their relationship, but on the entire Love and Hip Hop franchise. The show had seen its fair share of betrayals and heartbreaks, but this moment stood out as one of the most shocking. With cameras still rolling, the world waited to see what would happen next. Would Kirk and Rasheeda find a way to move forward? Or had their past mistakes finally become too much to overcome? One thing was certain: this scandal had changed everything.